Alright, hello. I am David.quintt, and the dynasty I chose was the King Dynasty. Now, going into this, before I was conducting any research, I had little to no knowledge at all about the King Dynasty. I heard about it before, but I didn't know anything of it. But as I started conducting research, some of the things that did stick out with me was that it was the first imperial dynasty in China. And before everything, before the Qing dynasty, it was the warring states. So the Qing state conquered all the other states, and essentially made the Qing dynasty itself. Now, there was an emperor named King Shi Huang who was the emperor of the Qing dynasty. But something that stood out with me was the rules that were set. It was kind of like a hierarchy. The emperor controlled everyone. The soldiers were there to expand, strengthen the military, and there was the farmers, the laborers, who were there to make food. Basically just do everything so that people could eat, and then also build, make tools and weapons. And then below everybody was the common people, which they had no role. So basically, it was the laborers and people, the citizens, who their job was to basically do everything for the emperor. So that really stood out to me. Another thing was, I really did think that the Qing Dynasty created and completed the Great Wall, but they actually didn't. They started it, but they didn't end up finishing it, and it was later finished on by the future dynasties. So that really stood out to me because I genuinely thought that they did complete it. And something else that stood out to me was, I have seen this before, but it was the iconic cultural achievement. It was the Terracotta Army, which was there to basically guard the Emperor King Shi Huang in the afterlife. So it was like around 8,000 clay soldiers, and then like chariots, and then the horses. They were all there, and the crazy thing was they were all like carved out perfectly, to show the expressions of everybody. And it was there to symbolize the Qing Dynasty's strength, military strength, and also it was there to show the power of King Shi Huang over everyone. So that really stood out to me a lot. Now, my perspective did change, before I conducted all this research to after, because I didn't know that it was the first imperial dynasty in China. So that means that before that, before they even started, the emperor had to basically pave his way through. There was nobody to tell him anything. Of course, he had some experience in the past, but there was no, blueprint or foundation. He had to build that foundation on his own, like building bricks to the top. And that really amazed me, because that's very hard. You have nobody telling you how to do something. You kind of have to learn it on your own. And the fact that it was successful and it was used for future dynasties, because a lot of future dynasties use that blueprint, the Qing Dynasty's blueprint and foundation, to build theirs and make it better. So that really stood out to me a lot. Now, I do appreciate the Qing Dynasty. It really made me like basically see structures, and every time I scroll or like see something on TV, YouTube, whatever, on social medias, I never really thought about what structures really mean. Anything built, anything made, anything carved, any artifact. I never really understood the meaning behind it, and I didn't understand the Great Wall of China's meaning behind it. I thought it was just a wall, but it was there to protect. And also the the what's it called, the terracotta army. I thought it was just they were just there to make the clay soldiers, but it was really there to resemble and show the strength of the King Dynasty and the power that King Shi Huang had. So, thank you.